What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm here at bassboatelectronics.com and Ultramarine, their shop here. My buddy Jason with bassboatelectronics.com is going to be working on some electronics up here. He's going to be doing a little bit of tweaking and really get me ready for the rest of the season. On the electronics, we're also going to be swapping out the trolling motor, going from the Motor Guide Tour to the new Tour Pro, which I'm really excited about. But what this video is all about is the Mercury engine. So while Jason's working his magic up front, I'm going to actually be doing a little bit of maintenance on my Mercury V8. For years I've been working on my own engines, doing the oil changes, the lower unit fluid and things like that. And I think it's a really good way to make sure that you've got quality control, and Mercury makes it really easy to do both. So since we've got a nice workshop area in here, and we've also got all the parts that we need here at Ultramarine, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that right now while Jason's up front. So let's get started. I think we're gonna split this into two separate videos, one for the engine oil and one for the gear case, but let's get started. All right, guys, so like I said, today I'm going to be doing both the engine oil and the lower unit fluid, but this video is all about the gear case fluid. So let's talk about the materials that we're going to need for that. First off, we've got a drain pan here, great big drain pan. So actually I'll be able to put all of the engine oil in there, as well as the gear case. And then as far as the materials that we need, it's very, very simple. Of course, we're going to need some gear lube. This is 90 weight. That's what you use. This right here is some marine grease 24C. When we take off the prop to access all the drain plugs, I'm just going to go ahead and put those on the spline of the prop shaft, and just add a little bit of that. Make sure everything's working perfectly and protected. And then of course we've got the drain plug seals. Of course, you want to make sure that you're using all the right products, so make sure you go to a dealer like Ultramarine to figure out what seals you need. And then of course we've got the gear loop pump. The only other thing that I don't have on this table right now that we also need is a big flathead screwdriver, but I'll bust that out during the change. So that is pretty much all you need. And so let's get started. Let's bring the boat in here and get her drained out.
Good, baby.
All right, guys, so I lied. There is two things that I was missing when I was talking about the tools and materials. You're going to need a piece of wood, 2x4, and a prop wrench. You got to get this prop off. Whole prop assembly. All right. Make sure you keep the washers in the same position. There we go. It's always a good idea, now that you're taking the prop off and everything, to just check everything. Doesn't look like there's any fishing line or anything around this this prop shaft. Of course, I check it all the time. But this is going to be the drain plug here, and this is going to be the vent plug. So we're going to go ahead and loosen that up with a flathead screwdriver, and then take that one out, and we'll get started on draining the gear case. All right, so the next step is we're going to go ahead and loosen this right down here, the drain plug. Once we get that kind of loosened up a little bit, just go ahead and put the engine all the way down. All right, so now it's down, so we can take it out completely. There's going to be a yellow seal behind this plug. So I'm going to take the plug out. It's actually quite long. And not a lot is going to drain out of that right off the bat because we haven't taken the vent seal out. But just make sure you get that old seal out. We're going to discard that, put that on the side, and then we take out the vent. And even though this is the Torque Master lower unit, the process is very, very similar across all different lower units. You can see it's going to start draining now, but very, very similar. The only difference is going to be the locations of the drain plugs and the type of drain plugs you have, as well as the seals that you're going to be using. So just pay attention to those little details, but otherwise it's very similar across different brands and across different models within the Mercury line. We're just going to let that drain for a bit. It's always a good idea to kind of inspect the gear case fluid. In this case, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's definitely dark, so it's definitely ready to be changed, but it doesn't look ultra milky, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of metal shavings in it. So we are looking really, really good. All right, so now we've let it drain for about 30 minutes now. It's pretty much all drained out. So we're gonna go ahead and fill it up. It's very, very easy. And on these Torque Master gear cases, the capacity is only like 17.5 ounces. So we're not even gonna be using this whole quart of gear lube. It's, you know, we're probably gonna get a little bit over half, and then I'll pump a little bit more through. But it's not that much. So we're just going to go ahead and thread this onto this right here. Another note is right here I've got the plugs all ready with the new seals and everything, so those are just ready to put right back in. But right now we're just going to pump the fluid into the lower unit until it starts coming out of this hole right here. All right, now it's gonna start coming out of the top there. You can see right there, starting to come out of that top portion. All right, and I like to push out just a little bit of the fresh gear lube and let some of the old gear lube that didn't end up draining out, just kind of pushing that out. But so I just put a couple extra pumps in it, and then I let it kind of settle a little bit within the gear case. So let that fluid kind of settle a little bit before you put the vent plug back in. All right, so now that we've let it settle a little bit, we're just gonna go ahead and put this vent plug back in. Okay, that way when I take the tube out of the bottom of the fill plug, it won't just all drain out. Tighten that nice and tight. Just pretty much as tight as you can get it with a screwdriver is good enough. All right, then you're ready to go ahead and remove that fill tube quickly. And then put the plug in right there, and it shouldn't be losing too much oil because we got that vent plug in. All right, and we're just going to tighten this up a little bit more. Just tighten it up, make sure it's completely tight, and that's it right there. We're just going to clean this up a little bit, put the prop back on. All right, so before we put the prop assembly back on, we're going to use some of this 2,4-C just for good order. We're just going to put some of this grease around the base of the prop shaft here, and I like to do it on the splines too. This will just make it really easy for you to take your prop on and off. And if you're in saltwater conditions, this is a necessity. You know, you want to keep some good grease around that. But just a little bit of that for good measure, and then we'll put the prop back on. All right, let's put the prop back on. Nice and smooth with that 2,4-C in there. All right, put the washer assembly back on there, and the nut. And of course, the hub assembly for your prop is going to be different depending on which hub you have, but just follow the proper procedure with that. All right, perfect. All right, so that's pretty much it for the gear case lube change. Very, very easy process. And again, you know, depending on the type of lower unit, the type of engine you have, it's all going to be very similar. It's just really the location of the drain and the vent plugs. But changing the gear case fluid is just really, really simple, and it's something that you should probably do more often than they recommend sometimes. You know, if I'm fishing a lot of tournaments in a row, I like to change it, you know, every, 50 to 75 hours, honestly. You don't have to. You can wait for that next, 100-hour interval, but honestly, I like to change it more often than not. And it also allows me to really keep an eye on the condition of that gear lube and make sure that there's no abnormal wear going on in the gear case. But that is it. Very, very easy. It's something you can do at home as long as you follow the directions on your owner's manual. You have the right tools and the right materials, right oil and stuff like that. Really simple job. Wouldn't you say, Jason?
I agree. 100%.
There it is, from the best. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll see you out on the water.